In December 2001, a company worth $63 billion in assets collapsed in the largest bankruptcy America had ever recorded, and it had never truly existed at all. In 1985, Houston Natural Gas merged with Internorth to form a new pipeline giant, led by an executive named Kenneth Lay, headquartered in Houston, Texas. Fortune magazine named Enron America's most innovative company 6 years running from 1996 to 2001, cementing its image as the future of American business. Investors, pension funds, and rank-and-file employees alike poured their savings into Enron stock, trusting quarterly earnings reports that always seemed to beat expectations. In 1992, the Securities and Exchange Commission approved a method called mark-to-market accounting, letting Enron book projected future profits as if already earned today. By the late 1990s, Enron had expanded rapidly into trading everything from natural gas to broadband to weather derivatives, chasing growth at any cost. In August 2000, Enron's stock peaked near $90 a share, valuing the company at billions on paper that hid a growing problem underneath. Behind the record profits and magazine covers, a small group of executives had already built a hidden machine to keep the debt out of sight. Chief Financial Officer Andrew Fastow engineered a network of special-purpose entities, including partnerships named LJM and the Raptors, to move debt off Enron's books. Under mark-to-market rules, if a deal was projected to earn money over 20 years, Enron could record that entire future profit as revenue immediately. The profits on paper were real numbers in real filings, but the actual cash behind many of those deals had never arrived in Enron's accounts. Through the mid and late 1990s, this accounting method let Enron report smooth, ever-rising earnings on paper, no matter what happened in the real market. These special-purpose entities let Enron sell troubled assets and debt to partnerships it secretly controlled, keeping billions of dollars off its own balance sheet. Fastow personally profited from these partnerships even as he ran them, a conflict of interest that let him negotiate deals with Enron on both sides of the table. The Raptors were designed to hedge Enron's own investment losses, but they were backed only by Enron's own falling stock, a shield made from the very thing it was meant to protect. The sheer complexity of these structures, hundreds of partnerships with names like LJM and the Raptors, made the fraud almost impossible for outsiders to trace. Enron's outside auditor, Arthur Anderson, reviewed and approved these structures year after year, lending its name and credibility to filings that regulators and investors trusted completely. By the time the decade turned, the entities that Fastow built had hidden an estimated billions of dollars in debt beneath Enron's reported financial statements. Employees were encouraged to hold Enron stock inside their retirement plans, unaware that the earnings underpinning that stock price were being manufactured on paper. Mark-to-market accounting inflated the profits, and Fastow's entities hid the resulting debt. Together, a paper machine built to make an ordinary company look extraordinary. By early 2001, a small handful of analysts and financial journalists began asking simple but pointed questions. How exactly did Enron actually make its money? In August 2001, an Enron vice president sent a written internal memo warning Chief Executive Kenneth Lay that the company could implode in a wave of accounting scandals. Enron's leadership had the memo reviewed internally, but the underlying structures it warned about were left standing, and the company's public statements did not change. Weeks passed after the warning, the stock still trading near its recent levels, while the entities built to hide Enron's debt kept quietly losing value underneath. Rumors began circulating on trading floors and in financial press about the true health of Enron's off-the-books partnerships and the debt they were meant to conceal. The stock, once near $90 a share, had already begun sliding as questions mounted about the true financial condition hidden beneath years of reported profit. Inside the executive suite, a growing awareness spread that the structures shielding Enron's debt were unraveling faster than any quiet internal fix could contain them. By October 2001, the paper machine built to hide Enron's losses could no longer keep pace with the debt it was designed to conceal. On October 16, 2001, Enron publicly reported a staggering $618 million quarterly loss, the first real crack visible to the outside world in many years. Within days of announcing that loss, the Securities and Exchange Commission opened a formal inquiry into Enron's accounting practices and the partnerships behind them. In November 2001, Enron formally restated its earnings, erasing $586 million in previously reported profit dating all the way back to 1997, 5 years of fiction undone. The stock, once worth nearly $90 a share, collapsed toward pennies as investors and credit rating agencies raced to abandon the company all at once. Court records later showed Enron executives had sold hundreds of millions of dollars in company stock, while employees kept buying in right up until the collapse. On December 2, 2001, Enron formally filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. At the time, the largest corporate bankruptcy in United States history, full stop. As federal scrutiny closed in that fall, Enron's outside auditor, Arthur Andersen, was found to have shredded audit documents connected to the accounting under investigation. In a matter of only weeks, a $63.4 billion company had become a bankruptcy filing, a shredder bin, and thousands of empty retirement accounts. In 2002, Arthur Andersen was convicted of obstruction of justice for the shredding. Though the conviction was overturned in 2005, the firm had already collapsed, costing 28,000 American jobs. Years later, both former chief executive Jeffrey Skilling and founder Kenneth Lay stood trial, charged with fraud, conspiracy, and insider trading tied directly to the scheme. In May 2006, Jeffrey Skilling was convicted on 19 counts and Kenneth Lay was convicted on 10 counts, closing the case the government had built for years. Skilling was sentenced to 24 years in prison, later reduced to 14. He was released in 2019 after serving more than a decade behind bars. Kenneth Lay died in July 2006 before he could be sentenced, and under law his conviction was subsequently vacated, closing that chapter without a final punishment. Andrew Fastow pleaded guilty, served roughly 5 years in prison, and testified against both Skilling and Lay, becoming the government's central witness in building its case. 20,000 jobs, a lifetime of retirement savings, and a company once called America's most innovative, all built on numbers that were never truly there. Next in the files, the telecom that invented $11 billion, WorldCom.